Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Leal in this incarnation, and today I wanted to talk about the comfort zone because this is something very different for each individual. What is very comfortable for some people, for others don't. So it's very important the path of self knowledge and self detection in order to dive more deeply in this. But I want to give some examples. And I wanted to talk about this because this new moon, I already explained this, has this transit of Neptune, and Neptune could activate these mechanisms of denial, of escapisms from our own path. And that's why it's very important to self-detect this. And because this path is not linear. You can move forward and suddenly you have another spiral of the same pattern. So that's part of the process too. And in astrology, this is traduced by the lunar pattern. The lunar pattern is not only the energy that we received as children from our family members and the experiences that we had. It's not only the conditioning and the patterns, but also the gift, the natural gift that we have. And it's talking about this comfort zone, this refuge that many times we can use in order to not face the processes of life. So that's why I think it's very important to detect it and not to demonize it, because many times that energy is talking about our emotional needs. So I'm going to put an example now. And let's remember that when we are operating from the pattern, from the refuge, the gift cannot operate at the same time. It's like love and selfishness. When we are operating from this place, from this frequency of love, then selfishness cannot coexist at the same time. So let's put an example about this. Let's suppose that we are talking about a person that has moon in Capricorn, and the comfort zone of that person, I'm talking in a very general way, the comfort zone of that person is to constantly pursue goals and objectives and to be the adult that other people expect them to be. So actually, is it wrong? I don't think to pursue goals and objectives is something wrong. I think we should all integrate that energy, because in order to materialize our desires of the heart, it's very important to take action on the material plane. It's very important to, give a realistic view. This is something that I explained in the video of the new moon. But if that person is doing that in order to not face, for example, their emotional vulnerability, which is something that many times in the first phases of this moon could happen, in the first phases of the pattern. So this could be preventing them to keep in their evolutionary path. So that's why we really have to detect this, because could be an emotional need to pursue objectives and goals. I don't think that's wrong, but if it's never enough and they cannot, face their own emotions, then that's a way of escapism from their own process. Another example, totally different, could be a moon in Aquarius, for example. The comfort zone for that person is to experiment constant change, to be in constant detachment, and to experiment totally unpredictable situations all the time. So is it wrong? Well, actually, detachment is something very useful in this process, because we can see things from an objective way and we can take distance from the things that are happening in our lives. And I think this is very, very useful. But if that is preventing that person, for example, can stay in a place and construct and build in time and sustain, well, that is the comfort zone that is going to prevent that person keep evolving. And I think to detect if we are using that energy as a refuge and not as a gift, not as an energy that is collaborating with our own process, we have to detect emotions, of course. Guilt and fear are totally indicators that we are, like trying to run away from our own process. So I think it's very important to give little steps For example, if I am a person that I need to plan everything and I cannot face, I'm very inflexible with unpredictable things, well, I should put myself to test and to do different things, unknown things, give little steps, so I'm not waiting that life is going to give me a kick, and I think it's part of the process too. Many times we need those kicks, but I think if we put ourselves out there, out of our own comfort zone, then we are doing this process in a more gradual way, and we don't need life to push us from the edge. So I think it's about giving steps, but doing something about this. And of course, many times we have to take decisions that are a total change, that are a jump in the void, and it's part of the process too. But I think it's very important to self-detect which are our comfort zones, and to try to transcend those when they are, impelling our own evolution. So I just wanted to leave this reflection today. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.